My first dream, like my dream job was to work at Subway. Actually, I loved Subway.
Emma. Hello and welcome to Had to Ask. I'm Melanie Sutrathada, and today we are asking our favorite creatives and storytellers and artists all the questions you've been wanting to know and had to ask, but maybe never did. Like, why? Why didn't you ask them? I have questions. So today we have a guest that I'm wildly excited about. You may know her from The Search for Roxie, or I don't know, a little show called Back to the Future, or I don't know, another teensy tiny show that has never won a Tony Award called The Outsiders. Maniacal laugh. Truly, the energy Emma and I have is scary. I may the odds be ever in our favor.
Chaotic good.
Chaotic good. Chaotic so good. So before we dive in deep, I have a few questions I did have to ask. Number one, would Cherry survive season 1 of Euphoria?
No,
I think she's too PG.
I think so.
There's
Respectfully.
not enough
Especially it's the 1967 of it all. Do you know what I mean? If it was a 2025 version of Cherry, 100%.
I think she could kill it.
1,000%. But the actual version that she is in the play, well, no.
Would Emma Pittman survive season 1 of Euphoria? I think you could maybe hang.
I think I would hang for a while and then I wouldn't make it.
I feel the same way about myself. I'm like, there's just too much happening. Like, can't we just be friends?
No, correct. Let's just find common ground. Let's vibe together, respect each other's boundaries.
Let's go talk about how crappy most men are.
Right.
Like, let's band together and do that.
Let's do that. That sounds great.
And then be part of a show choir or something.
Correct.
Like, that's the way. I just don't think people would watch that.
No. I mean, you'd be surprised. Maybe we could get something together. We'll work on that. That's in post.
Okay, what is the show that you always wished you had booked but didn't? Is there one? Or do you believe that everything happens for a reason?
I'm a very everything happens for a reason kind of girly. I'm like, so much of this industry is hearing no. And I feel like if you allow no to feel like a failure or feel like a missed opportunity, then this is a very, very exhausting career to get yourself into.
Correct.
So I forget whose Instagram story or TikTok I was watching. I'll figure out what it is and then I'll remind us later. But it was like, do what you can to reframe failure as an opportunity to just learn. Like just the gift of you know what, this wasn't right. And here are the reasons that it could be true. Maybe we can work on this. So the next time I'm in the room, I'm bringing something else. And then also being at peace with if it's not meant for you, girl, it's not going to be for you. And that is a gift. Hello.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think about even things like friendships and relationships. There are some that you just try to make work and you end up dragging yourself through the mud. And you're like, why didn't I just listen when they told me who they were the first time?
What's that? Let them?
Just
let them show you.
Let them. But it's hard to let them because I also, I am a little bit petty. I'm on the outside. I'm like, okay, what's meant for you will not pass you by. And then I'm also like, yeah, but maybe it just takes a little bit of convincing. Maybe if I just try a little harder.
I'm with that. I'm not opposed to that because I think that the people who are on the other side of the table or in that relationship with you will honor that part of you, which is obviously a huge part of who you are, which is clappable. Let's applaud that. That you want to make something work, that you want to work hard, that you want to prove that you are that girl. The people who are inspired by that and celebrate that will have you on their team.
Yes.
Well,
yes. What is your irrational fear?
Spiders.
That's not irrational. That's very rational.
I mean, I can do roaches, rats, mosquitoes. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But for me, a spider, the breath is immediately out of me. And my feet she's a runner, she's a track star, as quickly as possible to the exit.
So what if there was a spider and it was coming towards us, would you push someone down so that way you could escape faster?
I feel like somehow I would levitate in the situation. And I can't
You would save us both.
I would just I would be higher than the ground. I'm like, if we were in that situation, I'd be up on this chair. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be every man for themselves. It would be every me for me. I'm scared.
Same, honestly.
I can't stand them.
Were you a Harry Potter girly?
Controversially, no. Not
That's
a big
okay.
reader, which is
That's
kind
okay.
of it's tough doing the outsiders and talking to huge book lovers. We have a book club in our company.
That's
and
so
I'm
cute.
I love that for you guys.
You had other things you were doing.
Something about reading it just doesn't snatch me in a way that I wish it could. I do love an audiobook though, a follow along moment.
Same.
That's very
Same.
chic.
Well, I asked about Harry Potter because there is one scene where it feels like hundreds of thousands of spiders coming out. And there's one the size of literally like a bus. And I remember seeing that and going,
Absolutely not.
I'm still unwell. Okay, so that's your irrational fear, which honestly I think is rational. What
Thank
are
you.
you really scared of?
I'm really scared of the ocean.
Oh,
I was literally just talking about this like 2 days ago. Actually, it's funny that you bring it up.
There.
We don't know what's in there. And I won't let myself go on deep dives on TikTok about it because I'm already scared not knowing. Imagine if I had a little bit more information. That's traumatizing. When I was little, my Nana had a house on this lake in our town, kind of outside of our town, actually. And we would, ride jet skis in the lake.
Ooh.
And there was a time that the jet ski tipped over and my life jacket got caught on the handlebar. So I was like low key drowning. And I remember feeling something brush against my leg. And I said, and you know what? And that's enough for me. Go ahead and take me home. And then I worked on a cruise ship and I tried to conquer and like pass through my fear. So I went on like a snorkeling adventure, equally as traumatizing. Turns out I'm just scared and that's okay.
That's okay. Well, there are times when I love museums. I am nerdy.
Yeah.
I love to see animals. I just love to see animals. I don't need them to be near me.
Nope.
But I like to see them from a gentle distance.
Yeah.
And there was one of the museums in DC that had a squid that had been found. And that squid, no lie, was like 100 feet long with its tentacles. And I just went, for what purpose?
No, literally, why? Tell me to me, Rachel, why are you that long, please?
Why? And there's so many things that we have never seen. There was that black little anglerfish.
Oh my God, and it makes it to the top. Please, I'm actually really emotional today. And to think about that anglerfish could send me into a tiny psychotic break.
Oh my gosh, I think I am already going there. No! It spent its whole life in the dark.
And it's also so small.
It was so small and it was disoriented. It was coming its way up. And before it died, it saw
the sun.
The sun.
Oh my God, I can see all of the little like memes and pieces of art that people made and like the sad music in the background. And you're just like, that's all we wanted was to know what was up there. Do you know what I mean?
And then we knew. And then we knew. But that was cute. That had a cute story.
Very chic.
It's very chic. A lot of the stuff in the ocean, we don't know what's there.
They don't have that cute story. I know they don't. Respectfully.
Also, I don't think that's respectfully. There's just certain things where I'm just like, I am really good at a lot of things. I am good at eating ice cream. I do like the ocean where I can see my feet. It's really fun. I am really good at watching shirtless men chop wood.
Oh yeah,
it's really
exactly
nice.
who you're talking about.
His name is Thor, and I'm like, oh, it makes me uncomfortable that his face comes up so much. And certain people, some behind the camera, have literally sent me those videos, and I was like, why did you do this to me?
Yeah.
There's also there's some inappropriate ones where it's like a guy slapping bread or like dough, and I'm like, this is uncomfortable.
I also know what you're talking about. Our 4 pages are very similar.
I don't like this because I'm like, I want one of us to have it together, and I was hoping it'd be you.
No one does.
No,
I think that's what's more important is no one has it together.
No one has it together.
And that's freeing.
It is really freeing.
Exhilarating.
Okay, now we're calm. I've passed the moment of crying over the anglerfish.
I know. I'm just finished sweating from the spiders, so I think we're good.
We're doing
a really good job.
The fact that you also felt the same way about that anglerfish coming to life,
please. Its dreams came true. Think about that. Its dreams came true.
Then how many other fish are gonna never have their dreams come true?
Correct.
What was your dream as a kid? To be an anglerfish finding the light?
My first dream, like my dream job, was to work at Subway. Actually, I loved Subway.
Emma?
We would go. So where I lived was a half an hour away from where we took dance classes.
Great.
So after school, we would drive to get some food somewhere. Usually McDonald's. I'll be honest, I was a big McDonald's girly. Quarter pounder with cheese.
Oh, I live for their French fries.
They're so good, and also their little ice cream sundaes.
They're so good, and they're still affordable to this
day.
day.
Like $1. Okay, they were really good.
I
But we would
love.
also stop by a Subway, which
Mhm.
is great. And I love the way it smelled. And I just like, I really thought they were like artists, the way they crafted
Well, they're
each sandwich.
sandwich artists, Emma.
Correct. And I even learned how to fold it in the, yeah,
In the paper.
in the
Oh,
paper.
you are multi-talented.
I was obsessed with the Subway sandwich worker. I was like, I can't wait to be you one day.
I'm really sorry that you have downgraded in your dream. I'm so sorry that now you're on Broadway in this show that
No,
is
correct.
incredible. Maybe one day you'll find your way back to Subway.
I was gonna
Hopefully
say,
not.
thankfully, the Jacobs is on the same street as the Subway if you just walk straight to the west. So in a way, like I'm pretty close.
You're pretty close.
Pretty close.
I'm so happy you've achieved this in by proxy. You know, you're
Correct.
doing good.
It's near.
Oh my gosh. You're unhinged and I love it.
I love this for us.
If you could ride the DeLorean to any place in time, where would you go?
Oh, this is a good question.
Back to those days when you were dreaming big about Subway?
Honestly, kind of low key, especially if I could meet like little me on the way, like in a like safe, not destroying the future type way.
That
And just be like, girl, guess what? We don't work at Subway, but we work near a Subway. I think that she would love that. I think she'd be excited.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Stop it. Stop it. What do people get wrong about you?
Um, I think that in starting doing like being a vlogger, I'm a vlogger. if
You
don't know.
are, and they're so good.
Oh, thanks.
They're so good.
I feel like something that's been fun, especially with my brother who works in the industry as well. He works for Sound Associates right now.
Mm.
And so he's also in the theaters while I'm working in the theaters. And he'll meet people that are like, oh my God, like you're Emma's brother and you edit the vlogs. Like, we have to know, is she really like that? Like, I think people don't believe that it's my actual personality sometimes,
Yeah.
which is kind of fierce. But
I love
I think it would
that.
be very exhausting if I tried to be that every day.
Yeah.
And that wasn't me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it is just me.
I love it. I do feel like even seeing your vlogs, I'm like, no one is this silly. No one is this joyous because I do think that Cherry's like, she is buttoned up.
1,000%.
She's got like hair's a certain way.
Oof.
This is how we come out into the world. I imagine like Cherry at the start of The Outsiders doesn't leave the house without a full face.
No, the beat
know?
must be done. There used to be a line that was like, my hair has to be perfect and my makeup has to be just right for like my parents to, let me walk out of the house. Something similar to that. During when we were making I Could Talk to You All Night, there was like lines about making sure my makeup was perfect and my hair is perfect and like it's really hard being me. It's true. She definitely comes out with a full beat. That cut crease every day. I'm looking at myself in the mirror like Cherry would never mess this up. You know what I mean?
Meanwhile, people are approaching you on the street during street fairs. You've got a face full of pita and you're just like, come to me in 10 seconds. I'd be like, please come back to me in 1 hour.
I looked like a gremlin. And when she came up to me, I was like, it was all down my arms. And I was like, you want a photo? Yeah. 1 second. I felt so bad.
Well, you do not. Well, you and Jason and
Yeah.
another friend were at a street fair
Yeah.
eating those giant Euro
Oh,
falafel
yeah.
magics.
A lamb euro. They're
There's
so
lamb
good.
gyro is so good, but there's no way to eat that neatly.
No.
And if I saw someone with a whole euro in their face, I could never be like,
She was really doing her best too. That's why I felt the worst is that like I could tell she was really nervous and she was like,
"Oh."
I would never do this. I just wanted to, that's who you guys are, right? Oh, it's so cool. You guys have a show
That's so
today. And then
sweet.
her friend was like, she would never ask this, but can she please get a photo? And I was like, yes, I just truly do need 10 more seconds because I cannot touch you the way that I am right now. But she did a great job. I was sad that I couldn't follow through
Did
on the
she-
photo end.
Did she come to the stage door?
I didn't see her. So if you're out there, please come back.
Yes.
We will take a photo. I promise.
I love that. Also, shout out to her friend.
Shout out to her friend. That's a good friend.
That is a good friend because I am also the same. Like I'm really fortunate that I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of really incredible like idols of mine. And I will never be the first. I will never ask for a photo. I just feel so uncomfortable. But my friends are literally like, girl, get that photo. And I'm like,
That's a good friend.
You-
That's a really good
you
friend.
need a friend when food comes to the table and they didn't bring you the right order. I will be like, and I could be allergic to it and I'd still eat it. And my friends are like, excuse me,
Not allergic.
this is not right. And I'd be like, oh, no, it's okay. Breaks out into hives.
No, it's fine. I'm actually perfect. What's your sign?
What's my sign?
Yeah.
I'm a Virgo.
I like that about you.
Could
I'm
you
a Libra.
tell?
No,
Okay.
controversially. What's your rising?
I don't even know what that means. Wait, it's in my phone somewhere because
Okay.
some girly was like, we have to talk to your mom and see you when, like, when
Yeah,
you're
the time,
born.
because you got to put it in.
It matters?
Yeah, it does. Because I feel like when I was in college, like the very beginning part of my college career, people were like, I had really dark hair at the time, like
Mm.
same color as yours. They were like, oh my God, you're just so mysterious and you're so, I don't never know what you're thinking. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, interesting. But my rising sign is Scorpio, which I feel like is giving moody, is giving like mysterious vibes. And so I'm like,
Ooh.
oh, okay, that actually does make a lot of sense for me now, even though that wasn't true about me, that I perceived sometimes as a Scorpio.
I love that. I think astrology and horoscopes and the world, this world is so incredible. I think also a lot of people will kind of shit on it, but I think there's nothing wrong with trying to find better ways to learn about yourself and show
Exactly.
up in the world better and also support the people around you who need different things.
Oh,
I'm like, I love that.
and what about a great conversation starter? I mean, you
Yes.
don't have to know anything about it. And
No,
I don't know any more than what I just told you,
but
if I'm
I mean,
honest.
I
But
think
here we are yapping
you
about
must
it.
have a PhD in this. You know all the things. Um, Emma is now giving professional readings. If anybody would like to slide into her DMs,
Please come by,
money,
Rachel. Yeah.
please.
Oh my gosh.
Obsessed.
Love.
Do you watch Parks and Rec?
I do not.
It's so good.
I was supposed to say no disrespect to Parks and Rec. I liked it, but I didn't ever get into it. But you know what I'm into? Abbott Elementary. Similar vibe.
I
It's
love Abbott.
it's so good.
It's so good.
You know what else I've been watching? Hacks.
What is Hacks?
Girl,
Girl, put me on. I need to know.
you have to get into it. It's this amazing TV show. It's been on, I think it's on its 4th season now, and it's coming out as of like right now. It's
Oh, I'm
almost towards the
really
end.
late.
It's really good. It's about a comedian who's like been around for a long time, has an amazing career. She has residency in Vegas, and they're trying to take her residency away because
Oh,
she's giving hack. You see what
let
I'm
her
saying?
live
Like
her
she's
life,
older,
okay?
correct? So then her agent hires one of their writers from their agency
Mhm.
to work for her. And it's this like young, what is she? She's probably a millennial meets Gen Z, like somewhere in between, but more millennial
Mm.
leaning. And she's like this more woke comedian. And so
Oh,
like to have the dynamic of
interesting.
like them trying to figure out what's funny together and also like working through like life stuff together.
Mm.
Like the older comedian has like a very complicated past from her ex-husband and her sister. And then the younger comedian is like dating this girl, but then they broke up. And it's just the writing is excellent. If for nothing else, to watch it for the writing, but I also think the performances are excellent in that show. It's really good.
I need to go and watch this immediately. And also the way that you describe the show is I feel like that's very telling of you because if you were not a performer, would you want to be a writer?
Oh my gosh. Why does everyone keep asking me this? I don't know.
Because you
So
were eloquent about that. I was like,
thank
oh, I feel like
you.
the log line was clear. I'm seeing the things in my head. You were very
Wait,
descriptive about
thank
that.
you.
Yes.
So when I was growing up, I we moved schools when I was in the 8th grade into the 9th grade.
Mhm.
And the school that I was going to before was like, we're going to teach you how to write a nice essay when you get to high school. Don't worry about it. Like, just pass your tests and
Mhm.
we'll see you there. And then in the new high school, they were like, okay, time to use all those tools you learned in middle school. And I said, what? What was that? So I've always felt very insecure about writing actually because of that. I just feel like I missed the opportunity to learn the tools and then I was playing catch up. And so
Mm.
anytime I wrote, it just always felt like a poor reflection of what I was trying to say, you know?
Right.
So thanks
That
for
makes
saying
sense.
that.
Oh my gosh, of
I appreciate
course.
that.
Well, I think you're a storyteller.
This
Like
is true.
as an actor and an artist, you're a storyteller. And also like orally, you are a storyteller. So I went, oh, hmm. If you were not a performer and you were not a writer, is there another career you would be in?
I love teaching. I'm very grateful that like with doing my HO week and also even if I'm not doing it, the opportunity to teach is always available.
Yes.
And so I could definitely see myself like getting a master's and then going to some college, that isn't in New York and giving back to a community that could, use it. I mean, I grew up in a town that has an amazing theater program. It's called Ole Miss. It's
Mhm.
in Oxford, Mississippi. It's like an hour south of Memphis. it could be cool to I think would be my second like life if I didn't do the performing.
I love that, and I can see that for you.
Mhm.
So you got your start on Broadway through The Search for Roxie,
Yeah, yeah.
and incredible vibes. I can't believe that was 2022 because so much has happened between then and
No,
now.
and you want to think about what's really crazy is I filmed it in 2019. What was that?
Oh my gosh.
Correct. So
I
it
didn't
was like,
realize that.
yeah. So all of the filming that we did was in November of 2019. And then they released that it was going to happen in January of 2020. And then I signed with my agent.
And then you're still with that agent.
And they are those people. They are those girls for me.
Bless.
Yes.
So there's obviously been another kind of search for a character. We've got the
Correct.
search for Dolly. And I feel like there has been so much turmoil and lore and conversations around that. Could you give insight to what it's really like getting cast for a show? And also, I mean, I feel like the search for Roxie was different than the search for Dolly.
One
Can you
zillion
share?
percent. I'm honored. Honored that you're asking me this question because I've been feeling so inclined to say something, but also like I'm not gonna come on. I'm not gonna be like, everyone's been asking for my ideas on this because no one's asking me. But
I'm asking.
I'm grateful that you're asking because I feel so bad for those people who submitted those videos. And I think what my biggest issue with the entire search was that it wasn't authentic. That's that on that. If you were really going to do the search, you needed to follow through. There needed to be language in some sort of like writer or like I'm losing. You're going to use the word contract loosely here, like not saying you're definitely going to be locked into something, but nobody was advocating for those people. I mean, even when I was doing the search, I remember I got an email that said, "Hey, you made it into the top 10. Here's all the information. Here's where you need to sign on the dotted line that says you don't talk to anybody. Here's your point person. We're going to follow up." Like all of the information was there for me from the beginning of my like callback, I guess. And it just makes me really sad that especially because Dolly Parton is so authentic.
So authentic.
And she's such an empathetic person. She's such a caring person. I mean, all that she's ever done in her career is care for others who didn't necessarily need it or deserve it for, that matter. But she gives back in so many ways. And I feel like this was unfortunately just like a press thing that fell through the cracks that everybody else is like, actually, wait a minute. And I genuinely don't think that Dolly would have let this happen if she was
Absolutely
really at
not.
the helm of it.
I agree.
Like
100%.
I think she is that girl that would follow through with her word at the very, very least. But I feel my heart goes out to all those people who just didn't have anybody advocating for them on the search for Dolly's side. Do you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
the person that was supposed to follow up to be like, hey, here's what's gonna happen. Maybe, I mean, now it's all up in the air. Like, was it all for nothing? Or are they planning on using those people when they actually do come to Broadway? I'm not saying it's off the table. I think there's a world where sweet Elise Bell is gonna get up there and
Elise Bell, justice for Elise.
I mean, that girl, you gonna get up there and you're gonna put your boots on and I'm gonna see you do it, okay? Because we all want it. We're rooting for you.
Truly, we are rooting for you, Elise
We were all
Bell.
rooting for you.
We're all
Correct.
correct. Yeah, I think about what a vulnerable thing it is, not only to be an artist, but to put yourself out there thinking,
Of course.
I'm doing this and it's scary, but I'm doing this because it might be worth it.
I will
It might
never
be worth
forget.
it.
I will never forget. I had a professor, Michelle Pock. She's in Just in Time right now with the Bobby Darin musical. And she sent me an email with the search in it. And she was like, I really think that you would be right for this. You should send in. And I was like, you know what? The worst thing that can happen is somebody on that team sees my face.
Yeah.
And maybe remembers me. Maybe my name goes into a little filing cabinet for when they're, looking to replace at the very least. But at the very most, I could achieve my dream of being in this part in a show that means a lot to me. Like, it's always worth it. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That's why people say that.
Yes,
It's so true.
It's so true. So, how do you feel then about stunt casting, specifically for certain shows?
I was going to say, I'm not opposed. Okay. 'Cause the thing about, I think, if we address the elephant in the room, the thing about Miss Chicago is that it is about publicity.
Correct.
That's literally the whole gag of the show.
Yes.
So when you've got, Pamela Anderson was the Roxie before me. What was that? She sent me 2 dozen pink roses that said, "Break a lash" for my opening night. Please. She's so nice. And I remember watching her and, like, getting the chance to, like, low key trail her. I was, like, not trying to do too much, but
You were definitely trying to do too
I
much.
was like, "Hey."
Hi.
But watching her up there, you could first of all see all of the hard work that she put in it as someone who, like, is an actor, but not like a musical theater performer, not somebody who I don't think she would consider herself a dancer before doing that part. She had put in weeks, months of training before she even came to the rehearsal space. And to see that on stage and then to see her like commenting on the material as it reflects her life, girl, that's art.
Oh.
Okay. That was fierce. So I think that there's a world that it works. And there's also a world where it doesn't work, where you could definitely tell that it's, a cash grab and it's just a name. But
Mm,
I think there is some line of artistry underneath it that's
I
kind of
agree.
exciting.
I agree. And I know you're a big Trisha Paytas fan and you got to see your bestie Amber Ardolino in that.
Need.
So I felt that way about seeing that show because I mean Trisha is not a singer and she will be the first to say that. It's
Sh-
not like we're being
Correct.
disrespectful. She'll
No.
be the first to say it, but what a dream to watch someone else's dream come true.
I was literally sobbing in like the sixth row. There's this article somewhere that was like, I sat behind Emma Pittman, who just yelled, like, "Yes, slay. Oh my gosh, work." Like the entire show. Cause it was, the moment with the ensemble members who were all making their Broadway debut,
It was
having them
magical.
stand there. I was weeping. It was so beautiful.
It
It
was
was so
so beautiful.
beautiful.
And so, in a way, I do think that certain types of stunt casting can be good because there is something wonderful about seeing people shine and rise. That being said, I also understand that we're in an industry where people work their faces off.
Yes.
And is it painful? Like I'm not in the Broadway space, but I do a lot of film, TV, commercial. And when I see someone book something and I'm like, they're not good. It feels offensive. I'm gonna be
That's
honest.
that.
But I'm just like,
That's the
okay, but
Virgo.
for
Come on.
come on, like come on.
Yep.
But when I see someone who is not good and I'm like, then why am I spending hours in scene study classes? Why do I spend so much time working on these scenes? Why do I spend so much time on these auditions? For what? Like you don't have to be good. You can be discovered working at Chili's. You know what I mean?
It's because you love it. It's
I have to
because it's
remind myself
important.
that.
It's because you value the truth in the storytelling in a way that maybe those casting directors didn't.
Mm.
Ooh, what was that? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, being authentically yourself and honoring your love for the thing that you do, it's always a gift to do it, even when it's not yours. It's like,
Mm.
okay, period. But I had the chance to be in the room and to read those lines and to come alive in this character that I put a lot of thought into. And that is all I want to do.
Yes, and that is what you're doing right now. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
First of
you.
all, before we dive into it, I just have to say that your dress for opening of Back to the Future, are you kidding me?
Thank you,
That was
Brendan. That's my roommate. That's my best friend, Brendan.
I
He
was
is
gagged.
creative genius, and I couldn't be more grateful to be his muse. Like, his mind, the way his creative brain works is I don't have that type of brain personally.
Me
I
neither.
cannot. I've literally seen him say, "Oh, it should be like this," and he draws it up, and I'm like, why is that the most amazing thing I've literally ever seen? And that would have taken me months to even think about, let alone physically create in front. He's unreal.
Well, you are creating things of that caliber just in a different way.
This is very true. This is very true.
Would you I mean, I think about little Emma in the 10th grade who was like, "Oh, I got Marsha. I really wanted Cherry in Mississippi."
She was devastated.
Devastated. Devastated. Especially, I'm sure, bless whoever that girl was in the 12th grade who got the role
I
of
was gonna say she
Cherry.
did eat it up. Like, I was able to be
Yeah.
like, no, this is fair. I'm in the 10th grade. She's in the 12th grade. I get it.
I get
I get
it.
it.
But now you are playing the role on Broadway. So what?
Literally what?
What?
Literally just straight up what? It's it's such a gift. And I was reflecting on it the other day because we're at year 2, which is crazy. I've never done a show for 2 years or for more than a year. The longest I've ever done is like 6 months with Back to the Future.
Right.
So I was reflecting because I was like, why am I not tired of this yet? Like,
Mm.
what is it about this character, this material, like this experience that I'm still like, I love it and it's alive every day. The writing is unreal. The
It's
writing
beautiful.
is excellent. Adam Rapp, Justin Levine, and I almost said the brothers. They're not called the brothers. They do look like brothers a little bit, Zach, and they do kind of look like brothers. But anyway, they put their entire like lived lives as well as the lived lives of those characters into the material in a way that is so clear and concise and also like with space for individuality, which I think is like un unreal and also very courageous. Like we
It
have so
is.
many people in our cast that have insanely unique instruments, like from body to voice to, character development. Like I think all of the pieces that people bring to these characters fill in the gaps that the writers wrote to be filled, if that makes sense. And I'm very grateful to say that like I think the reason why I enjoy doing this part so much every day, and I'm not quite tired of it yet, is because I really felt that I was that girl in the 10th grade. I was like,
Mm.
I literally am. I relate so much to Cherry growing up in the town that I did and doing theater, but knowing that like there wasn't really a lot of avenues for me to pursue those types of arts in my town. But I was grateful to have the avenue that I did with my high school theater director. I mean, he created that program from the ground up and it is so good. It's so well done.
Yes.
Um yeah, it's been such a gift to allow it to be alive every day and in that it's different every day, which is why I think I'm not bored of it yet.
Mm.
It's so cool.
It is so cool, and I love I think that's the thing that's one of the things that really shines about theater is that every night it is different, and
Mm,
every night it is alive, and you find different parts of yourself, and what happened to Emma earlier in the day, you carry that in,
100%.
and it changes the way things happen and the way things are heard, and then your version of Cherry today, the person opposite of you is like, "Oh, I'm receiving this version of Emma's Cherry," and that changes them.
1000%. It's this beautiful game of like of listening and reacting and it's really cool to get to do it with different people. Like
Yeah.
I'm always like so hyped for the understudies and swings
Oh,
always, but especially in our show, they are some of the most talented individuals I've literally ever met. I mean, one of the greatest is Victor. Victor Cario Tracy. He plays Daryl, he plays Soda, and he also understudies all the Soch boys. So
all
he
of them?
can dance down Boots' house, sing down Boots' house, and act down Boots' house. And every time it's his. He's never trying to be the person he is covering. He is bringing Victor's heart and soul and voice into these parts. And it's every single swing and understudy is like that in our show. And it's so cool. Exactly how you were saying, like whatever Cherry I'm bringing in today gets to talk to, Johnny, and maybe it's Daryl Tofa that day. And we did Back to the Future together. And so, like, I see him in a different way and I see different vulnerabilities in him that I wouldn't see in Sky because Sky and I have a different relationship. Like,
Wait,
it's so fabulous to see what different colors can exist on this, canvas of the Outsiders musical. It's
mm,
so cool.
it's been really exciting, especially because the Outsiders cast is pretty young
Mhm.
in comparison, you know? And so I have loved seeing like the cast perform at the Tonys. Insane and iconic being in the room for that. I'm like, what is happening? But then
Unreal.
also seeing the cast perform at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, even though the rain was rough. Your girl was wearing a poncho. I do not look good in plastic. Despite my vintage Forever 21
Vintage.
outfit, I prefer real
No,
materials.
please. The rain that day was so crazy. And watching it back, it's like it was raining worse than that. Okay. You cannot tell how much it's raining by
Mm-mm.
looking at the footage, but it was like we were sopping wet. But it was so much fun. It was such an unforgettable evening. I think because of that, because the rain was
It
was
was real.
giving.
It
It
was
was giving
giving. The
real.
rain was giving. Thank you, rain.
Thank you, Rain.
Thank you, rain.
Thank you, Rain.
What do you feel like you've learned the most from Cherry and working on The Outsiders?
Hmm. I love I love Cherry's empathy. And I think that I would consider myself a very empathetic person, but I think that her patience knows no bounds, and my patience does know abound. Okay. I get to a point I'm like, all right, you know what? You figure it out then, you know? But I find that working in her play, she goes back time and time again to connect with Ponyboy, even though it's really giving, like, "Leave me alone," low key. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Even at the end, when she comes in with Johnny's stuff, like, she knows it's not giving, "Come on in, Cherry, please, we made a pie," it's giving, "Now what are you doing over here?" But it's because she cares, because she's really looking out for that person that she's built such a real relationship with, probably one of the first real relationships she's ever had. And I think that has been very inspirational in my real life because life's, and it's tough on not only us, but also our friends and our family and like pushing ourselves beyond what may be comfortable when it comes to caring for others, I think goes such a long way. And I feel like that's missed nowadays, maybe. It's kind of giving like, well, he didn't text me back, so he's blocked. And it's like, okay, well, and also, now this is maybe that's not the best example. If he didn't text you back, then go ahead and block. But there's a couple of my friends, we have a known understanding that sometimes we don't text each other back until we have the capacity to respond. And it's
Right.
like honoring that about your friendships and
Mm.
giving people grace where they need it. That's what Miss Cherry does. She's got empathy and grace overfloweth. Okay.
I think that's something that The Outsiders really brings forward is a lot of times we're just doing the best that we can with what we have. And a lot of us that might be different. Like
Oh,
you might come from a loving family who gives you everything. And then you're talking with someone who literally is like, I'm standing here to make sure that my parents don't kill each other inside.
correct.
It's it's a beautiful gift that The Outsiders is to tell these stories of people who truly are just doing the best they can.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about getting to meet the writer of the book, Susie Hinton, was we got to really understand that when she was writing it, she wasn't writing that the greasers are the outsiders. She was writing everyone is an outsider. Like there's this one of my favorite like scenes in the book is when they're like at a restaurant and this guy, Randy, pulls up. He's Bob's best friend. He was cut from the musical.
Sorry,
Sorry, Daniel
Bob.
Marconi. But it was absorbed by Cherry. And it's a Soch boy. He drives up, he tells Ponyboy to get in the car, and he's like, I just want to let you know, like, I'm not going to fight in the Rumble because I think that, this is a fight that we're never going to win. And also, like, Bob was doing his best. Like, he never had somebody tell him no. He was always allowed to get away with everything. And in that way, it made him feel lost and like there was no structure in his life. And it's like, nobody thinks about Bob that way, you know?
But hurt people, and that's Bob.
Correct. And I think that goes back to what you're saying. Like it just showcases this beautiful picture of so many people truly just doing their best every day with the tools that they have and the knowledge that they have. And is it right and is it fair? They're doing their best.
Yeah, even the people who you think have it completely together, who, they've got everything, they look good, they're volunteering, they're doing every single thing. You don't know what is happening outside of those
Mm,
little rectangles on Instagram. You don't
correct.
know.
It's so true. And it's important to remember that. And it's hard to remember that when you're scrolling
Yes.
and consuming and consuming. So put your phone down
Put your
after this.
phone
Put it
after
down.
this, not right now.
Yeah.
Don't pick it back up. Stop it.
Just wait.
Stop.
Like and subscribe and then put it down.
She
Yeah.
understands. You bring my heart so much joy, and I think your heart is one of the most beautiful things about you. I mean, obviously you're gorgeous and you're really
Mm.
talented, whatever. But also you've just got such a capacity to love, and I think that is one of many reasons why The Outsiders has been so popular. The fan base for The Outsiders is wild.
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 WIYULD. Wild.
So I want to talk about parasocial relationships in
Mhm.
the Outsiders universe because, I mean, it's different. If I see Audra McDonald, Audra McDonald, I can't even say her name,
She's that good.
Queen.
Correct.
I feel like the relationship like young Broadway goers have to someone like Audra is very different than someone like you, where you're in their age bracket. Can you talk to me about the feelings of parasocial relationships and the outsider specifically because of that fandom?
Yeah, I've been very grateful that, and I've talked about this a lot with some of my friends who have many, many subscribers and many, many, followers of their own platforms, that I'm very grateful to have started an open dialogue with, like, I don't even want to say just like my fans, but like the fans of the outsiders.
Mm.
Is, if I don't go out and sign, like, I'm posting it on my story. I'm letting them know. I'm creating an open dialogue that demands respect and also like understanding. And I think most of them do understand that, but it's tough when you get kids who are like really young. There we do have a handful of like middle schoolers who have had a phone in their hand for a long time, and
Ah,
they're just learning what a boundary is. They're just, I mean, I don't think I knew what a boundary was until
this morning.
I know. I'm like, hold on. I don't know when that was. Let me think. When did I go to therapy first? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I feel like this conversation of like understanding that you can follow somebody, you can think that you know them, because there have been many times that I go out and I see someone I follow on Instagram or on TikTok and I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, you have literally no idea who I am, actually. But I am honoring that I do feel that they know me and they see me because I see them all of the time, and then having that moment to go, okay, hold on. Now, how do I want to go about this? Do I just want to be like, oh my God, I just saw them? Great example, Nick Jonas. There have been 3 times, count them 3, that I have been in the same space as Nick Jonas, and I'm a huge, huge fan. Okay.
He's incredible.
And like my sister is also probably a bigger fan than me. Shout out Anne Elizabeth. And there have been many times that I'm like, I just like, we catch eyes and I'm like, I smile and then I'm like, okay, cool. And then I go home and I'm like, oh my God. But I would never like go up and, cross the boundary of, we're both
Mm.
coworkers, technically. Like we both work in the
We're
industry of
peers.
Broadway. Yes, we're both peers. He is not looking to have somebody come up and be like, oh my God, I'm such a huge fan. I wanted to take a picture with you. Go take a picture really quick. So I think knowing yourself and knowing your relationships with the people that you have in your phone is what's going to create the catalyst of like how you interact with them in person. I think the stage door can be tough sometimes because the boundary, it's tough. Some people don't understand that people who come out to the stage door, that's the gift that they give.
You're not getting paid for that
Well,
time.
no, we're not. We're not getting paid. I personally love the stage door
Yeah.
because the show is sad. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's pretty sad.
It's very sad.
And it's a nice way to like come back to joy, sharing the connection of what the show has done with the fans. There are times though where, the fans are a little too extra and they're like shoving, the playbills over the people in front of them. And I'm like, everybody, let's take a deep breath, and we'll take a deep breath together. And I'm like, I'm going to get to everybody, I promise. Cause that's me. That is my way of, discussing what are my boundaries, what are my intentions.
Mm.
And I think that it's all about communication. It really is. And remembering that everybody's a person. I mean, just like the play said, we're doing the best that we can. Okay. And honoring wherever that person is today is not necessarily where you saw them on your phone 20 minutes ago or where you saw them on the stage 20 minutes ago. Grace. Take a
Ugh.
book out of take a page out of Miss Cherry's book. Have a little grace.
Oh, Grace.
Be a little kind.
Mm.
But yeah, we're all right. Our fans, they listen. They really do listen, and they love us. And I think that sometimes love can be overwhelming, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what a beautiful thing it is to have a sort of fandom that is new and is falling in love with Broadway because I mean,
It's so exciting.
little you in Mississippi would have been like, "What? I'm gonna be on Broadway and I'm gonna have all,"
Cuckoo.
it allows you, I think, seeing someone, even having these sorts of parasocial relationships and seeing someone at the stage door, someone who looks like you,
Mhm.
it makes you feel like the things that you want for yourself and the dreams you have for yourself are possible. And that's a beautiful thing.
That's so exciting, and all I wanna do is yap about it. I love
Yes.
it. So exciting.
So you guys have already passed 1 year. What do you hope for the next year, whether it's with the outsiders or anything else that you dream about?
I feel like in the next year, I'm really looking forward to doing other performance opportunities that are not theater. I feel like so much of training for being a musical theater performer means knowing your instrument and being able to fine tune it into whatever character you're playing. And something that is very scary and like vulnerable is being yourself on the stage.
Yeah.
What was that? When I started doing the Broadway Cares speeches, I knew that it really scared me and like made me super nervous because I was just being me up there. Like, yes, I
Right.
was sort of reading a script, but like I was being Emma, not Cherry on the stage, talking about an organization that does so many great things. And I'm like in my head about like, well, I want to make sure what I say lives up to the greatness that they are. And I want it to be, crafted in a way that makes people feel like they could get help from this organization and like they could donate to, help a friend or whatever. Like I knew that all of that was the reason why my mind was running is because it's important, because it's to be yourself, to know who you are is really, really important. And I feel that I'm excited and scared
Yeah.
to do more performing opportunities that are just me on a stage singing a song. Like, what does that sound like? The way that Cherry sings the song is not necessarily how Emma sings the song.
No.
So that's what I'm really looking forward to in this
There
year.
is so much ahead for you.
Aw,
Do you feel a sort of pressure that it has to be at a certain caliber because now you've been in this show that is huge and has won all these awards?
no, I think that I think Danya did such a great job of creating it in a way that made it feel like if it is truthful, then it is enough. If you come in with trying to prove something, trying to convey emotion, trying to sound a certain way, then that's where it's going to feel muddy and that's where it's going to feel um inauthentic, and
Mm.
that is like the powerhouse of this show is that it's super super authentic. It's super real. Like teenagers are for real. Like we're just like being as genuinely honest every day as possible. And so that means like kind of what you were saying earlier, like whatever I'm bringing in from this yap session is going to be brought into our play tonight.
Yeah.
And however my day goes tomorrow is going to be brought into that play. And
Mm.
like taking every day exactly as it is with no judgment, tough, but
Yeah.
really valuable in our play.
I know we're catching you, funny enough, in your third Broadway show. What? Excuse me?
I don't know.
This
It's
is
crazy.
wild.
Crazy.
What do you hope that your legacy will be?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh, I really hope that well, I'm really hoping that I'm in this industry for a long time. Okay, so let's start there. But
Girl.
I think when it comes to like I mean, Gavin was someone that I personally didn't know.
Mm.
I wasn't a theater fan until later in my life because
Same.
of access.
Same.
And but to hear the way that people talk about that man, the impact that he had on people's hearts, the way that he showed up for people time and time again. It didn't matter how big he got, didn't matter what events he was doing, but he always showed up for people and he showed up for his community. And I think that is something that I'm like, I want to do that. And I don't always have the capacity all of the time. I think that's sometimes like having phone in our hands, it makes you feel like you have to be doing something all the time. Otherwise, you're not really doing anything. So besides having that pressure, I feel that I want people to remember me as someone who would show up, who would be in the audience, like I'm very grateful that our show next week, our schedule changes, but we've been having Wednesday nights off. I've been using every Wednesday night to see a show. I'm seeing
Yes.
Hamilton tomorrow because my friend JJ's in the show.
Oh, JJ.
I know.
My
And
heart.
love.
Yes.
But like, I want people to think like she always showed up, she always came through. And especially like with this new relationship that I'm building with Broadway Cares, like I want people to be like, she was that girl advocating for people who didn't have it, who like were needing help, who couldn't, pay rent that week or whatever. Like she was the girl being like, we're going to make it happen. Just you wait. Danny, hey, how's it going? Yeah, we're going to need some help over here. Like I've always wanted to be a helper. I'm a big sister. So I'm always like, how can I help? What can I do? So yeah, that's a great question.
Well, that was a great
Thanks for
answer.
asking.
I am such a firm believer that what is meant for you will not pass you by. I joke about not being that way because it's funny,
But you
I,
know.
I actually do believe that. And I just what you said about what you want your legacy to be is wild because essentially you want to be a bridge. You want to build a bridge. You want to connect people with the resources that they could not have. You want to give people access to things that they never would have been able to dream of. And that's not unlike Cherry trying to build something that didn't exist before and
Got that.
struggling sometimes.
Correct.
But you only have to change one person, one mind at a time. And you're doing that.
Oh my gosh, what's that like Lady Gaga quote where she's like, there could be 100 people in a room, 99 of them never look at you, but just takes one. Just takes one. 100%.
Emma, you're so lovely. Thank you for being here and being chaotic and real and fun and
Chaotic good.
chaotic good. And I feel like we just went through some therapy together.
We did. We went through a lot.
We went through a lot just now. Are we okay?
No. And that's okay.
That is okay. Thank you for being on
Thank
this
you
journey
for
with me.
having us.
Thank you for being
Us.
here. Yes.
Me, myself, and I.
I mean,
the three of us.
you've got the energy of multiple people. Multiple people, girl. Thank you so much for being here on Had to Ask Season 1. This is the one and only Emma Pittman.
Thank you for
You're
having
just
me.
Thank you for being here.
An honor.
An honor. Why are your hands so cold?
It's freezing in here.
It is. It is. My feeties are cold. But also,
Now I
I'm
was
not
gonna
wearing
say,
shoes.
the toes got to be cold.
This episode of Had to Ask was hosted and produced by me, Melanie Sutrathata. Filming, editing, and co-production by the amazing Joseph Loper. Filmed on location at the iconic Stay Gold Suite at the Chatwall in New York City. Make sure to follow, leave a rating, and subscribe. It helps the show grow and gets us one step closer to world domination. See you next time on Had to Ask.